All right, everybody, how we doing? We're live. Why not? Let's do it. Welcome to my YouTube page. I think we're live. Going to try to do it live. Going to wait for the YouTube to click in. We are up and we are running, and at 1 p.m. Pacific and at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we are about to get in there. Live on TikTok as well. What's up, friends? So this is the home office behind me here. And we're live, friends. All right, everybody. What's up, friends? Hi, everyone. It's Andrew Siciliano. First time I've done this. This is my YouTube page. It's Siciliano Show. I'm going to retweet this right now and then maybe get more people in here. I figured, what the heck? Happy League New Year to you and yours. So here we go. Retweet. All right, here we go. It is 4 p.m. Eastern Time. My name is Andrew Siciliano. You are watching live here on my YouTube page. I do a podcast on this thing called Thinking Out Loud. Do it a couple times a week with my buddy Sam Patesh, who's not here. This is just me right now. If this had been Times Square, we'd have Ryan Seacrest and we'd have confetti falling. We'd have the ball dropping as well. And then the celebration, the drinking, the revelry, the tomfoolery, the hijinks, the kissing of your significant other, hopefully next to you right now. And then the announcement of all the trades. I did this for years on NFL Network, the free agency frenzy sitting at the desk in Los Angeles. I decided to do it here right now by myself. And I know you're saying, why are you doing this by yourself? Well, I want to talk to you. They're not going to be guests. We're not going to have reporters. We're not going to be bringing on analysts. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but most of my friends are actually working and doing real jobs right now. This is just me actually talking to you as we go through free agency. All the deals that you've heard about in the last how many ever days since the window opened at noon Eastern Time on Monday are all now becoming official. For example, Aaron Rodgers is now getting released. Milton Williams is now officially signing with the New England Patriots. What else? Sam Darnold is now officially signing with the Seattle Seahawks. All those deals we told you about are becoming real. And you're actually having press conferences as we speak as well. Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles are on the podium right now in Lake Forest, Illinois, where they are announcing that Joe Thuney is signed and Jonah Jackson is there as well. Both of those deals are now official. Jonah Jackson coming in from the Rams, one and done there after they got him in free agency last year from the Lions. Didn't work out with the Rams. They had a lot of shuffling and injuries on the O-line, and they decided to cut their losses after only 1 year. He now goes to the Bears. And Joe Thuney from the Chiefs, obviously, to the Bears as well. In a trade, you also get Drew Dahlman, the best center on the free agent market from the Atlanta Falcons. And what the Falcons have done is they have reworked the middle of their offensive line, or rather the Bears have reworked the middle of their offensive line. Let's talk about the quarterbacks here, okay? So Aaron Rodgers is getting cut. He does not yet have a new team. It is coming down to one of two teams. It's either the Steelers or the Giants. Now, if you're looking ahead, the Steelers play both the Jets and the Packers this year. Just keep it in mind. If he goes to the Giants, you would have to think that changes the top five of the draft in the quarterback conversation. Right now, the Giants are drafting 3. It's the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants. If he goes to the Steelers, look, he plays for another iconic franchise. He gets to throw to DK Metcalf and George Pickens, who is still there as of now. But if I were George Pickens, or if I were rather the Steelers, I would actually trade George Pickens, but that's just me. If he goes to the Giants, he's playing with Malik Neighbors and whomever else they can get. Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe you go wide receiver at 3, although I don't know that there is a wide receiver that you want to take at 3. Maybe Travis Hunter is there at 3. If he doesn't go 1 or 2, then you get Travis Hunter, and then you get Malik Neighbors, and then you throw him there with Aaron Rodgers, and that could be fun. The news that is breaking right now is that Russell Wilson is going to visit the Browns this week. Let me explain a couple of things. Number one, this is not a Browns helmet. That is a Jim Brown autograph. That is a Syracuse helmet. But it is breaking as of now that Russell Wilson is going to visit the Browns. Let's unpack this. For those who don't know, and hi, Jason Gibbs, thank you for watching. For those who don't know, I do work for the Browns. I'm the voice of the Cleveland Browns as my day job. I'm doing this, just for fun. Russell Wilson played last year for the Steelers. I thought at times he played well. I thought at times, listen, he was tough as all hell. When he and the Steelers lost to the Browns in the snow in Cleveland on that Thursday night, the Browns beat the living snot out of him. And he's hung in there. And if not for George Pickens not looking for a Hail Mary at the end of the game, they might have somehow pulled that game out. Russell Wilson can still play. Is he still a championship level starter? Probably not. Can he still fight and scrap and lead and maybe get your team into the postseason? Maybe. Russell Wilson is going to visit not only the Browns, but we're told as well he's going to visit the Giants this week. So Aaron Rodgers is the piece that is still sitting there. Russell Wilson is the piece seemingly waiting in the wings for Aaron to make a decision. Now, Rodgers isn't going to go to the Browns. As I said, it's the Steelers or the Giants. But people want to know. People got to know. With each passing minute in every one of these front offices, they're looking at their watch and they're looking at their phone and they're looking at Twitter and they're looking at ESPN and NFL Network. And they're waiting for an answer from Aaron Rodgers. Are the Vikings in play? Maybe. If I'm him, I don't go to the Vikings. Do you really want to replay that movie? Look, you get a great team around you. You get Jordan Addison, you get Justin Jefferson, you get Kevin O'Connell calling plays. They have spent serious money on their O-line and D-line in the last 48 hours as well. So they've absolutely upgraded. Ryan Kelly and Freeze on the O-line. On the D-line, you bring in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. I mean, that is legit. So they're upgraded, and you get to play the Packers twice. But if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I go to the Steelers. It's more fun. Do you really want to follow the Favre footsteps? I don't. I mean, write your own movie. You already have, but, and by the way, I actually like the Aaron Rodgers movie on Netflix, the 3-part doc. I'd go see it. But if I'm him, I absolutely don't go to the Vikings. I go to the Steelers. Now, as a Browns fan, I'd rather have him go to the Giants, because if you go to the Giants, then potentially, I stress potentially, it takes the Giants out of the quarterback game in the top 5. I think that would help the Browns. This is just me talking. I'd like to see him go to the Giants. All right. Thanks for joining in. Let me reset here. Hi, my name is Andrew. I do this podcast every now and then with my friend Sam Batesh, who is not on with us, but we're going to do, Sam and I will, a pod later on, wrapping up everything a little bit later. For everyone jumping in here on the YouTube, including Gabe, hey, Gibbe, and Todd, Steelers seem like the logical choice. You could jump in on the column, on the comments column, or I'm also on TikTok going live right now as well. That's Andrew.Siciliano on TikTok. The Deebo Samuel trade is now official. I took some crap, I'll be honest with you, with what I said when the Deebo Samuel thing happened 2 weeks ago. I said it was a steal for the Commanders. I'd like to, can I edit that? Here's what I mean. I think it's really good for the Commanders. They get a 5th-round pick, and they hope to regain some of that magic, I think, with Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury and the other weapons on that team. I think it's a good fit, and I think he still has good football left. But I do think it's a win for both teams, truly, because if you're the 49ers, get him off your books. And we've seen what the 49ers have done. I mean, 11 of the 22 starters from the Super Bowl 2 years ago are now gone. Javon Hargrave was on that roster. He is now gone. He was injured, didn't play in that game. So, look, they have to clear house and get cap relief, and they got that. I think it was a win for both teams. So I want to revise that one. Also on TikTok, the one that blew up yesterday about the quarterbacks, I'm not going to revise that one. And let me bring it back right now. So go back and look at the quarterback moves that happened on Monday. And this is a big picture thing here about taking a quarterback in the top 5. I'd love to see the Browns take Cam Ward. That's just me. I think he could go 1. If he doesn't go 1 and he is sitting there at 2, I'd love to see the Browns take him. I've made that point multiple times on multiple platforms. But it is a crapshoot, an absolute crapshoot, taken a quarterback in the top 5. I mean, let's go through the history here. Let's just look at the guys that are doing deals right now. So Sam Darnold, great contract. I'm happy for him. He was at one point the 3rd overall pick back in 2018. The light has gone on. He hit it. He got his big deal. This is the 5th team for Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson, also taken by the Jets. Zach Wilson was the 2nd overall pick. Signs a nice deal. I mean, modest with the Dolphins. I actually do think that's a good fit for him. Right? You put him in that offense. The Dolphins need a reliable backup. I don't know that he's going to be a reliable backup. I thought that was a great spot for Jimmy Garoppolo. But you get him in there with Mike McDaniel. You have the weapons around him. If Tua gets hurt again, you throw him in there and say, dude, just get the ball out of the hand quickly. Hit these guys. Let them make plays. Let them get the yak. Let Mike McDaniel call plays. If you want to use fighter, pilot, cockpit terms, like you're in a good cockpit here. You got all the weapons. I think it works. But he was the 2nd overall pick. The Dolphins are now his 3rd team. Justin Fields got a great deal with the Jets. And notice how the Jets are connected to the first 3 guys I list. Justin Fields got a great deal with the Jets. I'm happy for the guy. He was the 10th overall pick. Justin Fields was. This is now, count it, his 3rd NFL team. Kenny Pickett, he was the 20th overall pick. This is now his 3rd NFL team. Now, 2018, all those guys, save for Josh Rosen, I don't want to say we're all home runs, but they've all found success. Not everyone in their original spot. Like I just mentioned, Sam Darnold. Baker made the playoffs with the Browns in 20. He certainly put together good football there, but it didn't really blow up for him until he got to Tampa, and Tampa was his 4th different spot. 2018, 2021, it worked well. Those quarterback classes for the most part. But in 2022, the Kenny Pickett draft, Pickett was the only 1st-round pick. All right, he's on his 3rd team. How many quarterbacks were drafted in 2022? Anybody? Anybody? 2022, how many quarterbacks were drafted? There were 9 quarterbacks drafted. 9. You know how many of them are with their original team from 2022? Anybody? Anybody? One. His name's Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry. His name is Brock Purdy. I beg your pardon. Brock Purdy is the only one left. That's it. Thank you, Gabe. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft, pick 262. He's the only one left. So not only is it a crapshoot in the 1st, it's a crapshoot all the way down to pick 257, which is going to be the final pick of the draft this year. Just because you pick a quarterback in the top 5 doesn't make him good, doesn't make him worthy of a top 5 pick. Just willing him to greatness, picking him at the top 5, doesn't make it so. Now, you can sit here and criticize the drafting record of any team, all 32 of them, and you can say, well, maybe if this guy got drafted by another team, he would have been a better player. Sure. But if you've worked your whole life, and again, this is anyone in any of the 32 front offices, if you've worked your whole life to get to this point, if you don't think the player is worth the pick, you don't take him. You don't take him just because you are badly in need of a player at that position. You got to love the player. And so that's what I would say to anyone who say you have to get a quarterback with your whatever pick. If you don't like the guy, you don't like the guy. Picking him there doesn't magically make him better at football. Anyway, I digress. Just look at the quarterbacks here as the money comes flowing in. Evan Engram, according to my friend James Palmer, has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Broncos. So Evan Engram was cut by the Jaguars. It was their week 2. Browns beat the Jaguars. Evan Engram was supposed to play, and after they had to get the actives and inactives in 90 minutes before the game, he pulled a hammy, ended up being out a month. He can still play. He's not going to block anybody, but he can still play. So that's a good deal for the Broncos. Is, you want to look at the first round. Sean Payton has said repeatedly, and a lot of people mock Colston Loveland to him. I don't think Tyler Warren's going to be there, or maybe maybe Harold Fannin from Bowling Green, because the Broncos and Sean Payton have repeatedly said he needs a joker on offense, kind of like that movable chess piece on offense. Does that change their first round potentially? Maybe, with signing Evan Engram. Let's roll through some of the other headlines here that are now becoming official as we are well into the new league year now, 14 minutes into the new league year. Malik Collins has a deal with the Browns. The veteran defensive tackle gets 2 years, according to my good friend Ian Rappaport, and $20 million. So Malik Collins, one of the 2 defensive tackles just cut by the 49ers, the other one being Javon Hargrave. Malik Collins, in essence, takes the spot of Dalvin Tomlinson. I hate to lose Dalvin. Love the guy. Truly, truly love the guy. Great in the locker room. Played really good football the last couple of years, but really those free agent contracts are often 2-year deals. You get the big money, you get out by year 3. So Dalvin is moving on, and the Browns get Malik Collins. The Rams have officially cut Cooper Kupp. This one's tough for me. I love the guy. For those who don't know, I worked for the Rams for a good 14 years, both in St. Louis and in Los Angeles. Cooper Kupp is a Hall of Fame wide receiver on the field, and he's even better off the field. That's so corny. It's such a cliche. But in this case, it is true, much like Andrew Whitworth, Matthew Stafford. Guys are great in the community. Sebastian Joseph Day, can name others. Cooper Kupp is that guy. He and his wife, Anna, are those people. Was able to MC a number of charity events over the years with Cooper. I posted on my Twitter account earlier today and on IG stories a picture of Cooper Kupp's helmet with the tape, right? His name on tape on the very first day of rookie minicamp, May 12, 2017, when he was an Eastern Washington rookie, a 3rd-round pick. He's come a long way. Had a triple crown 3 or 4 years ago. I know the guy can still play, but the Rams had to make the decision. Listen, are we gonna pay Cooper Kupp $20 million, $30 million cap hit, or are we going to pay Davante Adams $20 million with a lower cap hit because we could spread out a new contract and new money over multiple years? And they decided to go the Davante Adams route. I get it. It sucks. And Cooper wants to play. He wants to stay. He can still play. He can absolutely still play. He'd be a great fit in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen. He'd be a great fit in Dallas. Not going to bring Brandon Cooks back. Now, they're very different players. They're also former teammates. You're not going to bring him back. You have a spot for a wideout. Throw Cooper Kupp in there. Totally. That, to me, makes sense. And his wide receiver coach from college is now in Dallas. That one makes sense. Buffalo, maybe. I don't know. I'm looking at my TikTok here. We're live streaming on TikTok, by the way, as well. Andrew.Siciliano on TikTok. This is Siciliano Show. You see on the bottom of the screen here on YouTube. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Love it when you do. Thank you. What else? Going through the headlines here. Just moving the phone. Patriots officially signed Harold Landry. Bengals officially re-signed B.J. Hill. As mentioned, the Ryan Kelly and Will Freeze signings are official in Minnesota. They also bring in the defensive line help as well. Russell Wilson's going to visit the Browns and the Giants. And I mentioned the Debo trade is official as well. Let's go to the comments here on YouTube, see what you guys got. What about Raheem Morris in Atlanta? Todd, I assume you're talking about Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I could see that happening. Look, Cooper's not going to run down the field and beat you on that 9 route without play action anymore. He never had that separation to begin with, but the guy can absolutely play. And there is obviously familiarity with Zach Robinson calling plays there. Cooper Kupp's going to make any team better, period. Any team better. He's got to find a place where he's happy with the money and he's happy with the role. Can he still be a number 1 guy? I think so. Does any team want to make him the number 1 guy? I think that's the question. Back in the day on NFL Network, I hated doing the winners and losers segment because, I don't know, it's kind of like clickbait. But I would say this. I love what the Bears have done so far, and I love what the Vikings have done so far. And they both have the same idea, and that is beef up the O-line and beef up the D-line. It was a weakness for both. You saw what happened with Sam Darnold against the Rams in the postseason. The wild card loss in Arizona. You saw what happened week 18 as well with the pressure on Sam Darnold. So they had to do it. Now they're changing quarterbacks. You got a guy who's never started. You're throwing J.J. McCarthy out there. You got to protect him. They saw the weakness. They addressed the weakness. Now, is throwing money at the problem the fix? Not always, not long term, but short term, when you're in the best division in football, absolutely, it's the fix. Absolutely, especially considering the Vikings have, you know how many draft picks the Vikings have? Anybody? How many draft picks do you think the Vikings have? That many. 4. And one of them they got yesterday, 97 overall, when they were awarded a compensatory pick, a third-round pick, the number 1 compensatory pick for losing Kirk Cousins to that contract last year, 2 years and $100 million in Atlanta. They have 4 picks. So the idea that Minnesota could fix their O-line and D-line problems just magically in the draft, that wasn't going to happen because they're barely drafting. So they had to spend money. They had the room, especially after letting Darnold go. Consider what they did with the money that they didn't give Sam Darnold. And you're going, in essence, with a rookie quarterback, granted a second-year quarterback, but still a cheap quarterback. It was the right move for the Vikings. What the Bears did with Ben Johnson, obviously still with Ryan Poles as a holdover GM, is kind of an admission that they screwed it up last year. They went out and they drafted Rome Odunze and they signed Keenan Allen, but they didn't do enough to address the O-line. They just didn't. And now they've totally rebuilt the O-line in the middle. All right. So Caleb isn't getting pressure in his face and then having to run out the back door all the time. Right. So look, on paper, it worked. We don't play games for 6 months. On paper, it works right now for the Bears. And those are my 2 favorite teams, hands down. Question here. What I think is going to happen with Nick Chubb? I still think there's a chance Nick Chubb comes back. Now, it's not going to be tonight. It's likely not going to be tomorrow. It is tough out there for a veteran running back. I do think Nick comes back. Actually, I don't want to say it definitively. I think there's a good chance he comes back, but Nick's got to go out there and see the market. And I don't say that derisively. Veteran running backs know it's tough out there. Nick's coming off the broken foot. I think he came back week 7, and I think before he broke his foot, I think those last couple of games, you started to see him get back to form. Look, it is tough to come back from that knee injury. Anyone who has blown a knee out, and I certainly have not, anyone who has blown a knee out will tell you that you're not the same in year 1 back from an ACL. This wasn't an ACL. This was ACL, PCL, MCL. This was everything in his knee. His knee exploded for all intents and purposes. He was never going to be that explosive guy last year. I think he could get back to being a good running back. I think the Browns probably draft a running back. This is as deep a running back class as we've seen in many years after going to the combine. I think there are, within 2 years, 8 to 10 starters in this draft at running back. Now, I'm not saying A-list 1,500-yard guys, but I think this year there are 8 to 10 starters at running back in the draft. So whether it's at 33, whether it's with the pick you get for Amari Cooper, whether it's in the 4th round, Browns no longer have a 5th. They traded that for Kenny Pickett. You're going to get another running back, and I do think you can add Nick Chubb back to that mix. That's just me. Let's see. What do I think of the Colts moves? I actually like the Daniel Jones move. I'm taking questions here off TikTok now. I actually like the Daniel Jones move. And I think that any competition, especially from an established veteran, don't laugh. Daniel Jones won a road playoff game. Saquon, big part of it as well, a couple of years ago in Minnesota. But I think any legitimate push is good for Anthony Richardson. It's really good for Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco was supposed to be there as a mentor and a safety net. Anthony Richardson got himself benched last year. When you tap out because you're tired with your team driving and plus territory, Shane Steichen had to do something. Had to. Flacco can still play a little bit. We didn't see the best Joe Flacco last year, certainly. Think there's still a little bit of football there left. But I think it helps Anthony Richardson. I'm also fascinated to see, not that Brian Daboll's a bad play caller, he's a good play caller, but what it's like for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis with Shane Steichen calling plays, assuming Daniel Jones wins the job. Maybe he doesn't. But with Jonathan Taylor and Pittman and Pierce, you got some weapons there. I want to see what he could do. He's dangerous in the quarterback run game. I mean, both guys are dangerous in the quarterback run game. Pretty good. Yeah, don't laugh at me. Look at the top 5 rushing quarterbacks the last 4 years in the NFL. Look at them. Daniel Jones is on that list, top 5. Like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones is on that list. True story. What do you think of the Panthers? Let's see. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a first-round Hall of Famer. You are wrong there on that one. Let's see. What do I think of the Bills moves? Bills are signing everyone that played in L.A. Love the Joey Bosa move. Look, my thing with Joey Bosa is he's got to stay healthy. You guys know that. You know how many seasons Joey Bosa has missed the last 3 years? More than one. Now, he's never missed an entire season, but if you add up the number of games that Joey Bosa has missed, if you look at the number of games he has missed in the last 3 years, it is more than one full season. So if Bosa stays healthy, he's an upgrade on Von Miller, who saved his best for the postseason and had trouble staying healthy. Joey Bosa is a great addition. Yes, it would have been fun to see him with his brother, but the Niners aren't going to pay $12 million. It just wasn't going to happen. Chase the money, chase the championship. I'm all for it. Is Russ really a viable option for the Browns? I don't know, but they're going to visit with him. People say, what about Kirk Cousins? I would like to see the Browns go get Kirk Cousins, truly. But Kirk Cousins isn't getting cut right now, friends. He's just not. The Falcons, and Mike Florio explained this pretty well earlier today, the Falcons really have no benefit because they say, well, $10 million on Monday. They're not paying that check. It just becomes guaranteed. So it really doesn't matter if he's on the roster in Atlanta on Monday. Someone's going to pay him $37 million this year. Either way, they can wait. Now, I don't think anyone's going to trade for the guy because why would I trade for the guy? Pick a team. Why would I trade for the guy if I've got to give you something and I have to pay him $37 million? Don't make any sense. You're better off if they cut him, because if you trade for him, you owe him that money, all $37 million, and he doesn't want to take a pay cut. Why would he take a pay cut? Right? So you wait for him to get cut if the Falcons do it, and then you have the same situation that happened last year with Russell Wilson, which is the Steelers, in essence, get a free quarterback. They pay the veteran minimum, just north of $1 million, and the rest of the money comes from the Broncos. That would be the case with Kirk Cousins. That's why you don't trade for him. You just don't do it. But the Falcons are threatening to keep him. And that extra $10 million, there's an offset on it against 2026 earnings elsewhere. So it really doesn't hurt the Falcons to keep him. Now, is it good business to hold on to a guy that doesn't want to be there anymore? That's a different conversation. But the longer they hold on to him, the fewer spots there are available to go start. Why also consider this? Would Kirk Cousins go to a place if he doesn't know if that team is drafting a rookie quarterback? Because any front office could promise him they're not going to. But if there's a guy on the clock that you didn't expect to be there and you want to turn the card in for that quarterback, Kirk Cousins has no control over it. If I'm Kirk Cousins, I don't mind waiting until after the draft. I don't. All right, resetting, and I'm almost done here. We've done a half hour. We're just kicking the tires on this. Didn't know that I was going to do it. Just decided to do it a little bit ago. Why not? Thanks for stopping by. We are waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and the news today is Russell Wilson's going to visit the Browns tomorrow. He is also going to visit the Giants. Imagine having Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett next year with the Browns. Didn't see that one coming. Don't know that it is going to come, but it is official. The trade is done for Kenny Pickett. The Browns give up DTR and a 5th-round pick. And for Browns fans who thought, oh, my God, what are you doing? Kenny Pickett starting. I don't think he is going to start, and I actually think it's good value. And if you need him to start, that's fine. He started 25 games. That's good experience. He didn't turn the ball over a lot. They won 15 of those 25. Yes, I know football's a team sport. I understand that. But he only makes 2.6. It's good experience for a 2nd or 3rd round quarterback. I don't mind it at all. I really don't. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Andrew Siciliano. This is what we normally call Thinking Out Loud. I do it with my friend Sam Batesh, who will be on later tonight when we actually do a real pod. Please subscribe. Siciliano Show on YouTube. You're watching it right now. Or TikTok. Thanks for hanging in there. We're up to, look at that, a couple thousand people watching on TikTok. Like 25% of followers. Pretty cool. All right. That's going to do it, guys. I'm going to sign off TikTok first. And now I'm going to sign off YouTube. Thanks for watching, friends. Got a new pod coming up later tonight. Maybe we'll do this one of these days again as well. So long, everybody.